people. I'm going to talk about a couple of things. First off, I have like 3 new subscribers. Hi to whoever you are. Thank you for watching my videos. The second thing, and this gets really convoluted, so I'm going to try and keep it short and to the point, which probably won't happen. 3 pieces I found on Slashdot in the past week or so. And for those of you who don't know Slashdot.org is news for nerds, stuff that matters. They cover tech, science, math, games. Pretty much if you're a geeky, techie kind of nerd, you should probably look at it because there's going to be something that interests you. First thing was there was a post from, I believe it was like some teachers association, some national teachers union, adding computer science to the curriculum along the same lines as basic science and basic math, introducing it at a very early age, i.e. kindergarten in America. I don't know about the rest of the places. But the idea being that, computers pretty much are everywhere now, and if you don't know how to use a computer, you're really seriously impaired compared to other people who can, because everything runs on computers. Which I agree with that, totally, definitely. Make sure everyone knows how to use a computer. My reasoning behind that is, first off, our education system in America is broken beyond all recognition. We mistake intelligence for memorization skills. People who are able to memorize things and regurgitate them on command get good grades, because that's a very easy way to quantify learning. Are you learning these facts? Yes or no? That's not actually learning, though. It doesn't teach any, creative thinking or critical thinking skills. So wrong. But basically, the flip side of that is with the internet and with computers, like all the knowledge of everyone is pretty much out there at the touch of a button. So yes, computer science is important. Here's what got me thinking, though, is whoever had posted this to Slashdot had the nerve to say, "What do you think, Slashdotters? Is computer science education that important?" Fuck yes, it is. Jesus. Use your brain. This was a lot more recent. This was, I think, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, one of those two. Basically, the Department of Homeland Security has decided that effective January 15th, all aliens entering the country, pretty much everyone who's coming to our country who's not an American or a Canadian on a very short visit, is going to be submitted to digital fingerprint scanning. I believe DNA might have been in there. Basically, they're going to build a biometric profile on every person that enters our country who's not American. This makes sense. I can't really argue with that. What I do argue with is the Department of Homeland Security, along with the National Security Agency, the NSA, the war on terror is what we're fighting. The whole point of this is to stop people from going in our country and doing bad things, obviously. It's taken them almost 8 years to decide that it would be a good idea to keep this sort of information on people entering our country from other countries. Really? Seriously? 8 years? Good job. I mean, like, what the fuck is that? Seriously. They're just coming up with the idea of tracking people who aren't Americans. And it sounds really like America versus everyone else. That's not what I'm saying. Is from their point of view, you're more worried about illegally wiretapping your own citizens than you are about keeping a biometric database on other people from other countries, potentially terror suspects. The wiretapping thing has come up a couple times, and this is basically, it's come out, there was a very recent article, like yesterday, the day before on Slashdot, about the guy who helped break the illegal wiretapping story to the New York Times. And this is basically started in October after 9/11, so October 2001. The NSA was illegally surveilling everyone, period. They were basically had access to everyone in America's phone records. Thank you, AT&T, along with a lot of email information. And the scary thing about this isn't even the fact that they might be listening to your call or reading your email, but what's almost more scary is what they call metadata. And the idea of metadata is basically, if you take all of your electronic records everywhere, so if we have, first off, the NSA wants to build a unified national database of all licensing information for all states. The idea behind it is that every state on their driver's license will have the exact same information in the exact same format in the exact same place. So when you look at an Ohio driver's license, a California driver's license, a Texas driver's license, a Washington driver's license, wherever, you're always going to have the birthday in the same place, all this stuff. Which, that doesn't sound like that bad idea. That makes things a little easier on everyone, including me, because I have to card people. What gets scary with that, though, is when you flip it over and they want the little magnetic scanning strip thing, like a credit card. They want you to be able to have the exact same data in there, in the exact same format. They want all of this linked to a database that's in the same format across all states, and they want these all interlinked so that the government has access to it and can basically go in and pull all this information very, very easily. They can already do all this, but it's a little bit harder because everything is in a slightly different format and they're not all connected. So if they want Ohio information, they have to go to Ohio. And the reason I think it's scary is this, is they want that profile in a database somewhere, so that they have all of your all your vital statistics. You know, where you live, you know, what you look like, all that stuff, along with a picture of you. They can then tie this to other databases, and also most of that's probably going to be sorted by social security number, because that's a very identifiable, you know, thing. Everyone has an individual social security number. So we have that. Once we have your social security number, it's very easy. Even you and I can take someone's social security number and go do a background check, a credit report, which if you have a credit report, now you know the person's financial situation, that sort of thing. If it's the government, they can very easily get access to your financial records. Once you have that, if you can get access to credit card records, then you can see exactly where you're buying things and when and what you're spending your money on. If I can get access to your telecom information, I can see who you're calling, when you're calling them, how long you're talking. If I can get access to your email information, I can see who you email, who you can keep in touch with, who you IM, all that stuff. Now, individually, each one of these things is kind of like, whoa, that's not cool, but it's not super creepy. What happens when you put all this into one big file that lets you look at everyone's stuff at the same time? And what you can do with metadata is you can then feed all this metadata into a supercomputer running data mining software, which then allows you to go, okay, well, person X did this and that and the other. Basically, if all this goes through the way they want it to, the government has permission to completely know exactly what you're doing at every second of every day, which kind of, in my mind, goes against the whole idea of innocent till proven guilty, free country, free speech. I don't know. I just think that any place that has had this kind of level of government oversight, i.e. the government can know what you're doing at any given time, has not been a very good place. Maybe I'm taking it a step too far, but that's how I'm seeing it shaping up. Basically, I'm just kind of worried about this idea that they can see everything we're doing it all the time. Do I have anything to hide? Not particularly. Do I want everyone knowing everything about me? Not particularly. Part of all this metadata and all this stuff, this is one of the reasons I don't have a bank account. I do everything on a cash basis, because that's one less set of records. I don't believe in the credit system. I don't think it's, not even fair is the right word. I just don't agree with the idea that your consumerism can be rated by a number, which then deems how good a consumer you are so you can spend more money. I don't like that idea. So I don't have a bank account, which means that no one can track my purchases, which I definitely am not fond of the idea of people tracking my purchases. You know, they don't need to know all that stuff. The only place I show up on paper as of right now is my work for tax purposes, and my name is on the lease where I live, and I believe the internet bill might be in my name. But other than that, I kind of don't really have a paper identity, which is kind of nice. I like to keep it that way. I know I sound like a psycho paranoid nut right now, but that's just how I feel about these things. So have fun with that. Later.